Welcome to this week's episode of Serving the Community podcast. Each week, your host Trisha Stetzel is highlighting people and organizations in our communities that are serving through volunteer work and giving back to make our community, country, and even the world a kinder place to live. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Serving the Community podcast. My name is Trisha Stetzel, owner of Results Extreme Business Solutions and founder of this podcast, who has amazing guests every week, but this one is particularly special to me. Dominique Cousin and I have known each other for many years, and it actually is through BNI, which I've talked about a little bit. If you haven't done any discovery in that space, you should go look it up, Business Network International. And Dominique's story is going to talk, I'm sure she's going to talk about the relationships that she's built along the way. The reason why she's on the show today is to talk about the Phoenix Journey, an organization that she is the founder and executive director of. Dominique, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this. Thank you.
I am so excited to have you on today. Now, we did a little pre-show talk and there's a little emotion happening there. So for the listeners, you may hear a little emotion bubbling to the surface today because this is something near and dear to Dominique's heart. She's actually been through what she's going to talk about today. And also, I'm going to ask that you engage in this organization and give as much as you can so that we can support this Phoenix journey that Dominique is on. Dominique, would you tell us a little bit about you, and then let's dive into the Phoenix journey?
Absolutely. So, as Trisha mentioned, we met each other through BNI. It was a great and hell of a ride for me during that season, but I came into the space owning a catering business. It's in-house chefs, and we were killing it. We were doing a great job, doing many great things. I was meeting a lot of new people. These people ended up becoming family. Like, they were more than just friends. They were people who you can call on in the middle of the night, whenever you need, right? And that was a great time. And then I got sick. I began to have symptoms. My first symptom that was definitely visible was one day I just couldn't walk. I woke up and couldn't get out of bed. Like, my legs physically did not move. I tracked back, what those symptoms might have been, leading up to it. Started with vision changing. Some moments I felt I would go blind for a moment. It went into urinating on yourself, defecating on yourself, to the point where my husband physically picked me up and took me to the bathroom or took me to stand in front of my sink. I was losing a lot of control. I lost majority of my bodily functions. The diagnosis that came back was multiple sclerosis, MS. And it is a disease that it's very debilitating. And I was diagnosed with a active primary progressive form of MS. It is the highest level of progression of MS, where doctors told me every week I was getting worse. And shortly after that, my diagnosis, I was in a wheelchair. It was either confined to a wheelchair or I was bedridden. Could hardly walk, could hardly talk, forgot about who people were. When I would forget my sentences, forget what was going on. And then I had people around me that surrounded me and told me, we're not giving up on you. What are we going to do? Many of these people I can say today from none other than my BNI. Shout out to them. But truly, there was just individuals that I had met throughout time in life that reached out. And whether it was a good word, word of encouragement, or they actually had services that I had been reading, doing lots of research. I woke up every day and I read books about healing yourself from MS and or autoimmune disease naturally. Because what I was given were doctors who I love doctors and I love who they are and what they're about, but there were doctors that they didn't know what to do. It really was here's medicine to help your symptoms not get worse so quickly. Those were the key words. We're going to hopefully make sure you're not worse as quickly. That's not quite a cure, because there is none, but that's also not a whole lot of hope that things are going to get better in my situation. And that's why I went after a holistic approach. So there are people who, whether they operate in the holistic space or not, or they just happen to have a supplement, they happen to have, services, whether it's acupuncture, chiropractic, a different holistic mindset thinking, massage therapy, even all of those things, yoga, work, gyms that were able to offer me services that I really needed. Red light therapy. I mean, the list really can go on of all of these services that these people had that I needed, that everything I read pointed to utilize their services, try this different lifestyle change. My husband, who is a chef, as I mentioned, we own in-house chefs. That was the number one biggest thing, was your diet. Well, I'm grateful and blessed that my husband's a chef and that he was able to come up with some amazing recipes that I could eat and that I enjoy. And I didn't feel like I was missing out on life. And little by little, I'm getting my strength back. Little by little, I have the ability to walk again. Little by little, the inflammation that was in my body, the neurological damage that was being done is starting to repair itself. It is repairing itself. And I got to a point where I'm laughing again. I'm running. I'm jumping. I lift weights now, y'all. I do yoga every day. I live a vibrant life just like I did prior to me ever being sick. And I owe that a lot to just being able to find those resources, having a husband who can cook, all of those things all coming together in the right time. And that's why I knew I had to do something for somebody else. I had to create the Phoenix Journey, because my healing is not an anomaly. It is not just one-off thing. I believe in power of prayer, I do, but I know that this is something that can be repeated for many people across the board, not just for those with MS, but with many who are diagnosed with an autoimmune.
And autoimmune disease, many of them, I don't want to generalize, but they come back to nutrition, as you talked about, right? They really do. And with the right resources available to people, they can heal. Our bodies are amazing things. And if we feed them right and we do the right things by our bodies, they will absolutely heal themselves. So for our listeners, I know a lot of you already know who Dominique is. I know you do, because a lot of the listeners just know who you are. But for those of you who don't, Dominique was and still is a very vibrant, energetic go-getter. And it was almost like a light switch flipped.
Yes.
And Dominique went from being that energetic, vibrant, go-getter person to bedridden and stuck in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Now, you did share with me before the show that you had some symptoms. You didn't quite know that they were symptoms years before. And so there was a light switch, yes, but there were symptoms leading up to that. And the Phoenix Journey is going to allow people to get that kind of knowledge because you've been through that experience. So tell me about the resources inside of the Phoenix Journey that people will have access to. And then I want to talk to the audience about how they can help.
Absolutely. So a lot of the things that we're going to be able to put in front of them is going to be, again, we've got medical doctors, those who are MDs, who believe outside of just the modern medicine that you see. So they're going to be involved with that. We've got holistic doctors who really can, like take deeper things. I mean, I believe that, again, when we talk about health and really when you get down to the nitty gritty, I think everyone believes it's some part that some of it can be mental, some of it can be past trauma, some of it can be our environment. Well, we're going to address all of that. They address all of that when it comes to the root cause of the sickness that you're feeling at that time. We're going to be able to give them and partner with other chefs who can teach how to cook these things. Because again, what you feed your body, and I don't think anybody will be shocked to say, man, the American diet is really, we eat all very poorly. Like there's a reason why. I know you're not surprised. I know you're not surprised, but okay, it is really bad. So, but if we are really diligent, especially when you have this kind of diagnosis, you got to be really strict with it. You can't really just here and there eat a salad. No, it's got to be an overhaul to really figure out and get down to the root of, why you're sick. So we're going to give them those things. We're going to give them nutritionists, because they're going to be able to tell you, here's why you can't go to the McDonald's every day, y'all. I think that's important. And we're going to be able to get them. We've got partnerships with people where we're going to be able to have you grow some of your food, because it's expensive to buy all organic. I don't think that anybody's shocked on that. It does come with an expense. But if I give you even better ways to, like, here, let me put you a system where you can grow your food inside your house. But like, we're giving you these things. We're going to make sure it's provided for you. We are locating where the acupuncturists live, where the chiropractors are, where are your personal trainers to be able to physically, get you moving your body the best way possible for someone with an autoimmune disease, because somebody with a regular able body is going to be different than someone with an autoimmune. So there's a laundry list of services that we're going to provide you with based on what you need. We're also going to provide you financial resources based on what you need so that you get the best results possible. Because everything that I'm saying to you today, I went through those things. Those things were offered to me. And my mission is to make sure that that's offered to all. Those who are sick, it's not fun being sick. It's not fun having an autoimmune disease. You feel lonely. You feel helpless. I also want to give you a community of people where we're going to have group sessions so you can talk about these things, with other people who understand it, because no one's going to understand it quite like someone who's going through it with you. And they're also going through the healing journey with you. That's what I think is exciting. And lastly, we've implemented a coaching segment where someone's going to check in with you, see how you're doing, because you're not on this journey by yourself. You're not on it alone. There is someone who's going to be there that will guide you, help you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever you need, where they're checking in to say, okay, where do we need to go from here? Okay, you need another visit with our nutritionist. The nutritionist will then step in to assist you wherever you are within your journey. So it's a whole system that's put in place to ensure that you can't fail. And when you're done with this journey, and really you're never really done with the journey, but when we're done holding your hand through that journey, you are now equipped to continue your life as you used to live, but without, the training wheels, so to speak. And you now can do this on your own and then go help somebody else, encourage somebody else, bring somebody else into the program so we can continue to help more people.
I love that. And you also shared with me, this was not your calling, right? He asked you to do this, right? And you've walked in those shoes and how it felt. It felt lonely. You needed somebody to talk to. You needed those resources to help you heal. You also needed funds to get the things that you needed to heal. And that is why your organization is raising money so that you can help others who have been through this afford to
Yeah,
go on this journey as
absolutely.
well. So, how can people either get involved or give to the Phoenix journey?
Yeah. So just as you said, you're right. The things that the Phoenix journey is in need of right now is um, there's like able bodies to coach. Again, like for people, whether you've been yourself or not, they're really good at encouraging and coaching other people. And again, I look at this, and you might hear me say this several times. I'm pretty intelligent, but I'm not the smartest person in the room, nor should you be, right? So I didn't make any of these things up. I am just a vessel to put people in place. Like that's all I'm doing is orchestrating. So there are way more smarter people that is doing this program that is really helping individually. However, you as a coach could be that person that just listens to them, figures
Mhm.
out what they need that day. And if they need to have a meeting with our one of our counselors, that's when you pick up the phone, call the counselor, and connect, the
Mhm.
counselor with
Yeah.
that participant, right? If they are like, I'm struggling because I really want to go to McDonald's today, then you say, all right, let's get a nutritionalist in front of you. Let's get the
Yeah.
chef back in front of you, right? When they
Yes.
start complaining about pain, we have pain management specialists. All I'm asking for those coaches to do is to check in with these
Good.
participants to make sure that they're not alone. So we have places for them. We also are in need of, if you happen to have one of these services, if you
Okay.
are someone who's in that health realm, we've got lots of people on board, but I need multiple people in different parts, the city, state, and country, because we're going US wide. We're going to start US. I mean, I do help people overseas, but I am only having conversations with them overseas. But within our country,
Okay.
we need access to those people. So if you are operate in that space and understand what I'm trying to do, and you're able to help in any part, then we want to go ahead and put you in that circle of our trusted, providers. And then lastly, there is the funds that are needed. Um, we are looking at, because obviously there are some of our medical professionals that it's a tax write-off to them, and they're more than willing to give and donate
Mhm.
their services.
Mhm.
But we also understand that some of these service providers, this is how they make their income, and we don't want to shortchange them in any way. So we have a negotiated rate, but we need funds to help pay for those. Every participant that comes in, they're on a sliding scale based on their level of need within, for services, and need
Mhm.
regarding financial. And those individuals, once we've analyzed that, that's how we negotiate, how much funds we can give to them towards all of their services that they will need throughout our program length of time. So
I love
absolutely.
that.
So you can donate.
So, yeah, and no, that's okay. So tell our listeners how they can donate. Where do they go to either donate time, fill out a form, or give a monetary donation?
So by going to phoenixjourney.org, phoenixjourney.org, there is a place there you can put in there, I want to volunteer. And that you just tell us what area you would like to volunteer. Then there's partnerships. That would be more for those that are wanting to, um, be able to be one of our partners, be one of our providers. That would be where they would sign up. And then there is a donate button. And once you click on that donate button, whatever monetary that is on your heart, uh, you would go ahead and donate from there as well. But it all starts with phoenixjourney.org.
Awesome. I will also make sure that's in the show notes. So for those of you who are watching this at your computer on your phone, you can just click and go directly to phoenixjourney.org. Dominique, thank you so much for being on the show. Can you believe our time is already, actually, we went over time,
We
but I
did.
love you so much. Yes, but you have such a story to tell, and I would love to have you back in a few months so that we can talk about the progress, knowing that this is a brand new organization, right, that you're building up and you do need a lot of help right now. I'd love to have you back in a few months to give us an update.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, And then don't forget, we do have our 5K. We have a 5K
Yes.
coming up April 1st. April 1st is at Generation Park here in Houston. It's Beltway and 59 is the best way to kind of navigate that. And we are having a 5K race. This 5K race is really designed for those that either they're running in memory of someone who has an autoimmune, for those that have an autoimmune, or those that just love to run and just want to support. But we have a lot of our providers are going to be there with booths ready to give information about what they're going to be doing, as well as it's called the Ascent. And this is super important, Trisha. It's called the Ascent. So if you have an autoimmune disease, we recognize you're probably not going to feel like running. I know you don't want to run. I get it. I didn't want to run. We're asking you to go as far as you can. We're going to mark down how far you went today. And then the following, because of that, you're automatically entered into the Phoenix journey. We're automatically going to start giving you services. And then the following year, I know for a fact you will go further than what you did the first year. So if you have an autoimmune, please come out, please be a part of it. If you know somebody, please, let us know. And that you can also sign up phoenixjourney.org, and it will say sign up for the run. But yeah, I would love for you guys to do any of those things.
Fantastic. So I'll make sure all of that's in the show notes. Dominique, I hope that the listeners are reaching out already and making your organization grow as fast as it needs to grow to support the people who are out there who really need what you have.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I appreciate you being on the show today. And that concludes this week's podcast, Serving the Community.